Okay, hopefully you're working on pages 30 to 34, and that will help you prepare for tomorrow's assessment as well as Thursday's assessment. So if you haven't, stop, do the first 8 questions, and then watch this video, make sure you did this correctly. So which graph represents a linear function y equals 2/5 x minus 1? Remember, my constant is the y-intercept. So I take a look and I say, okay, that does not cross at -1. That's out. This crosses at -1, so it's still a possibility. This crosses at 3, so that's out. And this crosses at 0, so that's out. So the only one left is B. What you can also do is take your calculator, go to y equals. Okay, I need to change something on my calculator first, so bear with me. Okay, go to y equals and put in 2/5, so alpha y equals 2 over 5, go to the right arrow to get out of that, x minus 1. And let's make sure it matches. And sure enough, same picture. So you knew you did it correctly. So my choice is B. Okay, name an ordered pair that lies in the graph of y equals -6x plus 7. So you could pick some numbers, or let's go to your calculator. Clear this, type in -6x plus 7, and let's look at your table, which is right above your graph key. So second graph, and now you can pick any one of these ordered pairs. I could say -2, 19, and when we write an ordered pair, we always put it in parentheses. I could say, you know what, 2, -5. Okay, whichever one of these pairs you wanted to write. So I'm going to go with 2, -5. All right, what's the slope and the y-intercept of this line? Remember, the slope is the coefficient of x. So that would be -4 over 3. My y-intercept is my constant, and that would be my +7. Okay, so our slope is -4 over 3, and our y-intercept is +7. All right, what's the equivalent equation to this? Well, that means I need to get y by itself. So I'm going to look at this side, and I'm going to get rid of whatever's furthest away. So the opposite of 4x is a -4x, and I write that on both sides of the equation. Subtraction property of equality. That's a zero pair. I have -6y equals -4x +30. These are not like terms, so I cannot put them together. And then instead of multiplying by -6, I'm going to divide by -6. -6 divided by -6 is 1, so 1y. -4 divided by -6 reduced is 2/3, so 2/3 x minus 5. And that is my equation in slope-intercept form. Right, let's take a look at the next ones. The graph of this linear equation, well, I take a look and say, you know what? If I want to know if it's increasing or decreasing or can't be determined, I'm going to look at the slope, which is the coefficient of x. And the slope is negative. So if the slope is negative, my line is going to slope down, so it's decreasing. But just to make sure, go to your calculator. Go to y equals, clear that, type in 11 minus 2x, and graph it. And look what happens. It is showing the line goes down. So we were right. It is decreasing. What's the y-intercept of this? Remember, the y-intercept is the constant, and I don't see a constant. So if I don't see a constant, that means I'm adding a 0. So my y-intercept is 0. Now, what's the equation that best represents this graph? So to write an equation, I need my slope and I need my y-intercept. So I take a look, where does this line cross the y-axis? So it crosses it at a +1, that's my y-intercept. Now I'm going to start at my y-intercept and I'm going to go to any one of these points. So say I go to this point, I go up 2, so it's a +2, and I go to the right 1, +1, so that equals 2. Well, what if I decided to walk to this point? I would have gone down 2, that's a -2, and 1 to the left is a -1, and that would have also given me 2. So my equation is y equals, that's my coefficient of x, 2x, that's my y-intercept plus 1. Let's grab your calculator and make sure that matches. So I go to y equals, I clear that. We're going to put in 2x plus 1, and I press graph. Sure enough, it looks exactly like the line we had. So we know the equation y equals 2x plus 1 is correct. Now, what's the equation of a horizontal line that passes through this point? Remember, math is all about patterns. And I take a look and I say, wait a second, I noticed something interesting. I noticed that the second number is always -3. So that's our y value. So the equation is y equals -3. You got to go to your calculator again. Go to y equals. Let's clear that. We'll put -3. And let's go to our table. Second graph. Is 4 -3 there? It is. Is 2 -3 there? Yep. And finally, is 8 -3 there? Yes. So we know our equation is correct. All right, great job. You're going to give yourself a break, and then you're going to work on pages 32 to 34, and then check that with what I have. Take care.